I want to give you guys the opportunity to kind of talk about Delaware Entrepreneurship League, what that is, what you guys are doing here. So why don't you start off by telling us a little bit, what is Delaware Entrepreneurship League?
Yeah, so hi, like I said, I'm the president of Dell. And so before we go into some of our work and the event, I figured we could give you a quick introduction to what the Delaware Entrepreneurship League is. Dell is a nonprofit organization working to further the entrepreneurial mindset in high school students. And so the issue of lack of resources for youth entrepreneurs and youth innovators has been addressed by Forbes and UNICEF. So we know it's such a huge problem. And Dell works to kind of bridge that gap. And so we have a club framework where we have resources, entrepreneurship clubs in Delaware, and really our events and that speaker events through our curriculum. We establish a problem-solving framework for students to set those students up for future success in their career, in research, as they innovate. And so we're really setting students up to create value from new ideas and successfully adapt to ideas and to adapt to change through that problem-solving framework. And so youth are really the backbone and future of society, and at Dell, we really try to empower them through our events, curriculum, and so on and so forth.
Thank you very much. And I know you guys have a couple of really cool projects going on. I know one of them being the one that we're here to talk about today, DelawareLaunch, but also some other things. So tell me a little bit about the work you guys do in general.
Yeah, definitely. So what we have done in the past ranges from various events, but a little background about how we kind of started. It began 6 years ago with two students that both went to the charter school of Wilmington. One of them named Marco Zerfos and Nick Uluzio, and they both started this organization with the intention of kind of spreading the idea of the entrepreneurial mindset among high school students in Delaware. And now, with their help, we were able to cultivate this type of mindset throughout our clubs and our system. And we've hosted multiple events. And one of our major ones includes DelawareLaunch. We will definitely be talking about that later. But we've also hosted Dell Talks. And last summer, we had a conversation with Matt Mayer where he was able to kind of talk about the cohesion and integration of politics with entrepreneurship, which is a really niche area, but we were able to have him kind of give us insights. And being a local speaker from Delaware, it was very specific to the conditions that we kind of experience in the Delaware business field. And so that has been a major event that we've had. We also have clubs, like I mentioned before, and we've kind of created about 32 weeks of content that kind of teaches the basic skills within business, such as knowing how marketing works, learning about finance skills, and things where we're able to kind of create and make all these students have the opportunity to the education with entrepreneurship.
Thank you, guys. So specifically, DelawareLaunch. Tell me more about this.
Sure, I can talk about that. So DelawareLaunch is a high school pitch competition for students in Delaware. And this year we chose the topic of environment and sustainability. And mainly their focus would be on problems with the environment in Delaware itself. And it helps students look into their state and see how to solve problems around them. And they'll be preparing a pitch deck to present for 3 to 5 minutes. And we have judges who will give them feedback and will score them based on this rubric. The students will be able to get feedback after their presentations, and they'll be able to network with other judges, adults, like parents, or anyone that comes to the event. And the event is open to anyone in Delaware or out of state, or anyone who is interested in listening to these pitch decks and learning more about the innovative ideas that the students come up with. So the event will take place in the Cab Calloway Theater from 2:30 to 7 on February 4th. So anyone is welcome to come. They can just show up to the event, and it will take, so then before the award ceremony, we'll also have a speaker who will talk about her experience, and she's Maggie Myers from Brightfields, and she also focuses on environment and the business field. So the event is welcome for anyone to attend, and we would love to have people there.
Yeah, and before we move on, the event's actually on February 5th. I think
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah.
So February 5th at the Cab Calloway Theater at 2:30 p.m. until 7 p.m. That's in Wilmington. It's at the Cab Calloway School of the Arts. We have an address that we will send around after this meeting with more information on the event. So I know that folks can just show up if they want to be there. There's no tickets involved. Just if you want to go, feel free to show up. There's no virtual access option at this point in time, but definitely encourage the folks in your network to come show up to this. The really key thing I want you guys to talk about here, which is actually why we decided as Sussex Health and Environmental Network to do this, is why is sustainability in business so important? I mean, we're at a time, I think, where that's more important than ever with the way the climate is right now, with what we're seeing in our world in terms of pollution, in terms of the results of businesses not operating in a sustainable way for a very long time. But to see young people focused on that, and that being what's the direction of the future of business, that's a really exciting thought. So please tell me more about that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Whenever you start a business, you should always have like a positive environmental impact. And as we can see, a lot of companies like Lego, Nike, Vanguard, BlackRock are all taking preventive measures against global warming, and they're using eco-friendly materials to manufacture their products. For example, Nike is using sustainable materials in manufacturing Vapor Max's Air Forces and a bunch of other shoes. And Lego is also using vegetable oil and sugarcane in order to manufacture its products too. So as we can see, like a lot of companies are already taking their preventive measures in order to preventive measures against like global warming, and like in a way they're saving the environment. But there are also some companies that do not take an eco-friendly approach towards their business, and due to this, they tend to like release carbon emissions into the air, which harms into the air and into our atmosphere, which hurts the environment overall, and it's not very good. So, like, really, carbon emissions is like a really big topic going on right now. Like, a lot of car companies are trying to go green and trying to go electric because the carbon emissions are just going up every single year, and eventually it's going to just lead closer and closer towards global warming. Furthermore, going off of that, like oil companies in general, whenever there's like an oil spillage due to oil companies, like if they don't clean up very well, there tends to be oil spillages that happen. And because of this, it usually runs down to like beaches all across the state, especially in like DE. We have some of these occurrences, and companies like SHEN, correct me if I'm wrong, they take care of our like DE beaches from the pollution and oils that harm the aquatic ecosystem and organisms. Like they help take preventive measures against keeping a green environment, and like they help us so that the environment is not harmed in like another type of way. So I definitely think that a lot of companies should take a more eco-friendly approach towards how they deal with business, because we're at a point in time, like Mike said, that global warming is a really big issue and climate change is slowly happening, but soon enough it's going to get to a point where it's going to be too far to save it. So I feel like we should start going green. Now I'm going to pass it off to Harsha.
Thank you, Arish. So the general idea of what we're doing is targeting social entrepreneurship, which is an idea with a cause. So we are trying to target problems that affect society and, more specifically, environmental issues. We are trying to engage younger audiences to identify and implement creative solutions to these problems, especially motivate the innovators of tomorrow. For example, a student in a DelawareLaunch event previously created a DNA biosensor, and that was able to detect any environmental pollution levels, which is really impactful and helped us and she really made an impact within society and more specifically the environment. And like in the DelawareLaunch event that we mentioned, we are encouraging more individuals in this generation who are like us, like-minded, to step up and really take charge and have an effect on what they do and become more involved generally in the field of business and the environment.
Guys, and I'll open that up just, and don't feel like it has to be a rehearsed response, but just to all of you. I mean, what does that mean to you, sustainability in business? Like where we are now environmentally. I mean, I know the environment means a ton to young folks. Just to open that up to the three that didn't get to speak on it yet, what does that topic mean to you?
Yeah, so for me, and sustainability in business is incredibly important. I think businesses have hold such power in society, whether it's a local business or something that's huge in scale, like philanthropy and businesses using that power for good is something that isn't talked about enough. And I think that's one of the reasons why we did choose environment as our topic, is because I think so many youth can resonate with that and really be innovative with coming up with solutions for especially Delaware environmental problems. I mean, we just heard about the whole lead in water in schools. So that is something that we don't want. And so for businesses to kind of take charge of that, for youth innovators to come forward and come up with solutions, I think it's so relevant in today's day and age.
And kind of like adding on to what Ishita was saying, I think something that, like, when we think of business, a part of a stigma with it is we associate it with kind of being ruthless or trying to just do something to make money. And it's all about that profitable part. But with entrepreneurship, it goes beyond that, especially with social entrepreneurship. It kind of allows us to find that balance between doing something for society and doing something with good intentions while also maintaining the principles of business. And at heart, it's about like the innovation, and it's about being able to kind of implement that mindset, which is what we're trying to build with Dell, and kind of incorporate and kind of embrace that idea with the high school students, as well as people outside of the organization that are just interested in entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I think some people might say, like, this can be problems for organizations or businesses, but I think it really depends on all of us to, like, come together, fix these problems. Like, it all starts with us. I mean, we have to make problems, like, easier, I guess, or do everything that we can to, like, create, like, a healthy environment for especially future generations to grow up in. I think it's really important that we prioritize what we can now and utilize what we can so that it's ultimately a safer world for all of us to live in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything. And I have like one more thing to add. It's not just like what the businesses themselves do. Like, of course, like their smallest changes have such a big impact. But I feel like for people who really like that business or a product that they sell, it really inspires them to take a step forward towards sustainability. And it makes them change their small habits throughout the day that affect the environment.
Thank you guys all for that commentary. I'll open it up to questions for the folks that are here in a minute if they have any. Just wanted to add that, Sussex County, like, obviously that's very important to us here. Like, it's just really key to see businesses that are looking out for our environment and looking out for what we have here in Delaware, which we have resources that can provide us with a very sustainable economy. And I love to see the businesses that are capitalizing on that. So, for example, our tourism economy here, $7 billion, 44,000 people employed, based on the clean resources that are here in our beaches and our bays and our beautiful waterways. And they drive people here year after year to come and have a good time and leave, and hopefully don't cause an incredible amount of environmental degradation in doing so. Which is why we really need to be careful about the things that we're citing here on Delmarva, and make sure that we can keep those things pristine through making sure that we're supporting wonderful young minds that are putting forward wonderful ideas for businesses that are truly sustainable and that are going to benefit society. So thank you guys. I will open it up if anybody has questions. But thank you guys so much for coming tonight and speaking with everyone.